Published, 1739 Eastern Standard Time, the 24th of February 2018. Updated, 1739 Eastern Standard Time, the 24th of February 2018. In the late summer of 2001, I sat in a press box at the old Olympic Stadium in Munich and watched England rout Germany 5-1. It was only a World Cup qualifier, but it says much about the recent history of our footballing fortunes that it remains, alongside the 4-1 demolition of Holland at Euro 96, the most joyous England performance I have witnessed. When Michael Owen completed his hat-trick to put England 4-1 up, one of my colleagues lit up a cigar and stuck it in his mouth to great amusement from the rest of us. When Emil Heskey scored the fifth, he lit up a second cigar and stuck it in the other corner of his mouth. It is one of my happiest memories of a faintly surreal occasion. England thrashing Germany 5-1 in 2001 remains the most joyous displays I have witnessed. Those things don't happen very often in press boxes, where impartiality and a level of detachment are, quite rightly, the rule. It grates when people applaud or cheer in press boxes, particularly at club games. Journalists are supposed to be objective amid all the fervor. But sometimes, as in Munich, the mask slips. When Johnny Wilkinson scored the drop goal that won the World Cup for England in 2003, my press box neighbour slapped me so hard on the back that I nearly ended up in the next row. When Andy Murray won Wimbledon in 2013, emotions were hard to suppress. When Ayrton Senna died at Imola in 1994, I looked around the press room and saw journalists in tears. When England played Argentina in Saint-Étienne during the 1998 World Cup, I remember the clenched fist desperation of wanting them to win. The impossibly dramatic Champions League triumphs of Manchester United in 1999, Liverpool in 2005 and Chelsea in 2012 were all occasions which might have tested the desire to get on one's feet were it not for the terror of deadlines. Moments like that in Liverpool's 2005 European triumph evoke inexplicable human emotion, but the BBC's emotionally incontinent coverage of the Winter Olympics has been irritating, so even if the squealing, backslapping, emotionally incontinent coverage of the Winter Olympics by the BBC has grated on me at times during the past fortnight, some of it is forgivable. I'd be a hypocrite if I condemned it out of hand. Watching sport is about getting carried away, isn't it? Sometimes, it's about losing yourself in the impossible drama of what's unfolding in front of you. Murray Walker was one of my favorite commentators, and he was often unabashed in his patriotism and his favoritism. When Damon Hill won the World Drivers' Championship at Suzuka in 1996, Walker was choked with emotion. And Damon Hill exits the chicane, he told viewers, and wins the Japanese Grand Prix. And I've got to stop, because I've got a lump in my throat. Damon Hill won the 1996 Drivers' Championship, and Murray Walker was choked with emotion. He enjoyed the impassioned commentaries of Jonathan Pearce during Euro 96 as well. They were classics of the genre. I love hearing the long drawn-out cries of goal from South American commentators. I love the acerbic imprecations of Alan Green and the bouncing wit and wisdom of David Lloyd. Then there was Bjørge Lillelund's magnificent celebration of Norway's 2-1 victory over England in Oslo in a 1981 World Cup qualifier. Lord Nelson, Lord Beaverbrook, Sir Winston Churchill, Sir Anthony Eden, Clement Attlee, Henry Cooper, Lady Diana, Maggie Thatcher. Can you hear me, Maggie Thatcher? Your boys took one hell of a beating. Your boys took one hell of a beating. I defy you to listen to that and not be moved by the pure joy, by the abandon, by the slightly unhinged exultation. Sport is at its very best when it can do that to you. If you can capture hyperbole with eloquence and feeling, then you have struck gold. If you lose that, if you lose the ability to be carried away by great sporting moments, then you have lost the essence of sport. The BBC have not always got it right in Pyeongchang, but there are more important things to worry about than people getting carried away by their love of sport. There are caveats to this. Some of the joy in British success at the Winter Olympics has come with bursts of propaganda and jingoism that are an embarrassment. We saw that at its height with the coverage of Elise Christie's series of mishaps and blunders in the speed skating. The official BBC Olympic Twitter feed risibly described Christie as one of the bravest people we've seen. Some joy in British success in Pyeongchang has come with embarrassing propaganda. BBC's Twitter feed risibly described Elise Christie as one of the bravest people we've seen. There were also attempts to suggest that she was the subject of some wider plot to victimize her. Sadly, when your race record at the Olympics reads crash, disqualified, crash, disqualified, disqualified, crash, crash, disqualified, disqualified, then really there is only one question an analyst should be asking her: have you ever thought it might be you? I distrust, too, the instincts of the BBC to draw attention to the antics of their commentating team who reported the gold medal exploits of Lizzie Arnold last week and the leaping, hugging, clapping, dancing reaction to the failure of the last skeleton rider, the Austrian Janine Flock, to beat Arnold's time. My own preference as a viewer and listener is for the cool, sharp analysis of broadcasters I consider masters of their art like John Murray, Michael Atherton, Gary Neville, Jackie Oatley, Mark Pugach, Gary Lineker, Mark Chapman, Hazel Irvine, Sonia McLaughlin, Nasser Hussain and Jamie Carragher. The BBC's reaction to Janine Flock failing to beat Lizzie Arnold's time also did not sit well. I prefer less, not more. I liked the way that Dan Maskell was not afraid to let silence reign so that when he did speak, it had even more impact. I liked the dry wit of Richie Benaud and the utter command of John Arlott. But there is room for different voices and tones. The truth is, I have no connection to Arnold. I don't follow her fortunes regularly like those BBC commentators. If the England football team were on the verge of winning the World Cup, with players I knew and admired, then I'd want the commentators to be reflecting the emotion of the occasion. To tell people swept away by the excitement of sport that they should press a mute button in their minds is like being the steward who tells fans to sit down at football matches. You can see the sense in it, but it is a miserable job. Commercialism is already waging a war on sports spontaneity. It would be a shame to kill it completely. I agreed with Jose Mourinho's decision to play Scott McTominay instead of Paul Pogba against Sevilla last Wednesday. If Pogba is not doing the job Mourinho wants, he has to pay the price. How bizarre, though, for Mourinho to mention that McTominay has a normal haircut in an apparent dig at Pogba's extravagant style. Pogba is a big personality who wears his charisma well. Mourinho appears intent on beating the dynamism out of him. Jose Mourinho bizarrely stated Scott McTominay had a normal haircut, a dig at Paul Pogba's the FA, fresh from signing a memorandum of understanding with Qatar, where homosexuality is illegal, a threatening Pep Guardiola with a touchline ban for wearing an emblem supporting Catalan independence. How comforting it is to know football's governing body in this country have got their priorities right.